So in the last episode, we looked at opening and closing files. So we took a look at this open function, which takes the file name you want and the permissions. The permissions are listed down here. This is a non-exhaustive list, but these are some of the common ones that you will be using. And when we're done with all of the reads and writes that we want to perform on our file, we call the close function on this handle we created up here, and it will free up the memory that this open function took up. So right here I have this file called file.txt, and in it contains two lines, hello there, and this is some text. So there are three ways you can read from files. You can read all the contents at one time, so the entire file. You can read a couple of characters at a time, or you can read line by line. So let's take a look at the first one, which is reading the contents of the entire file. So here, we call a function called read on this file handle. So what this will do is it will go through this file and return all the contents of this file, and then we can just print that out. So if we go and run this, you will see that it matches exactly what's in this file. The second method is to read a couple of characters at a time. So let's say we go back in here and we want to only grab hello from this file. We want to grab the first 5 characters. So what we would do is we would go in this read function, and this read function actually takes an optional argument for the number of characters that you want to read from this file. So if I want to read 5 characters, which is hello from the start of the file, I would simply put a 5 in there. When I click run, you will see present. So now let's iterating over a file line by line. So you can see 2 lines in this file. The first one is hello there, and the second one is this is some text. So using a knowledge of for loops, we can iterate through every single line in this file that we just created up here, and then we can print that out. So if we go and run this, you will see that we get hello there, and this is some text. Alright, so what happens if we want to read at an offset? Right, so the first time we read 5 characters from the start of the file to read hello. But what if we want to read there, which is also 5 characters long, but it's not at the start of the file? Well, we can use this function called seek. So this seek function is called on the same file handle, and it will set where you want to read from. So if I go now to read 5 characters, it should go back to this 6th index and then start reading from there. So now if we go to run this, we see that it prints there. There's no space, you'll notice. It starts right at this T and ends right at the E. Alright, so now we'll take a look at writing to files. The first thing that we need to do is change this permission to either W, R+, or W+. I'm going to leave it as W for now, since we're only going to write. So now let's say I want to erase the contents of this file and write over it. So I want to replace this content with something else. So what I would do is this. So what this should do is it's going to open this file, it's going to write this text to this file, and then it's going to close it. So if we run this, there should be no output because we didn't print anything, but if we go back to this file, you will see that the contents of the file have been replaced by the text inside this function. So now what happens if we don't want to overwrite the contents of our file every single time? Because when you write to a file, you're just going to erase the contents, write something new to it, and then close it. So what if we want to add stuff on, like new lines or new content? Well, then we have to use this append permission right here. So the first thing we have to do is go over to our permissions, select append, and then whatever we write to this file will get tagged on to the end of this. So if we run this function again, filehandle.write, this is some other text, it will open this file, it will add that string to the end of this, and then exit. So let's take a look at that. Alright, going back into our file, you'll see that it appended this text over here, right? So this was a portion that was originally in this file, and then this was the text that just was appended to the file. So using this, you don't have to constantly store what's in the file and then write it over and over again. Instead, you can just add to the end of the file as much as you want to. But you need to keep in mind that you must change this permission, otherwise you're going to overwrite your file. That's it.